welcome back to Junk Journal July 2025 with Serendipity Intended. My name is Tracy Ann, and I am jumping in to day 3, which is summer. If I remember correctly, let me just double check. Yep, day 3 is summer. And so I've got my stuff here, and let me kind of clear things out of the way a little bit here to make myself some room, and then I can talk a little about kind of what I was thinking about. I'll actually put this over here. All right, so summer. Again, this was my sort of starting point. I think this picture is really fun. It is, let's see if I can pick this up. It is an old-timey picture, and I love how she journaled directly on the photograph and then added this sort of speech bubble here with some hand lettering. I thought that was fun. And so I wanted to play off of that idea of writing on a postcard and thinking about summer. They're clearly at the beach in the summer. And for me, the beach means summer, summer means the beach. And so I decided to find a photograph of my own. And this one is the one that I found. And this is little me in July, I don't know if you can see that, July of 1970. So I was not quite 4 in July of 1970. I wouldn't be 4 for another 2 months. This was actually done in Florida. And I do remember that bathing suit. I remember loving that bathing suit and thinking that I was absolutely the bee's knees in that bathing suit. So I'm going to use this. And so I got this, and it's a photograph of the actual photograph in an album. And when I cut it out, it ended up having this sort of black border, and I kind of like that, and I think I'm going to leave it there just the way that it is, especially because it kind of makes it pop off the page. So I had to figure out what I was going to do, and I thought, well, maybe I could just do something really similar, do something super, super plain. But this wasn't quite big enough to cover this. So then I thought, okay, well, maybe I could cover the background and then work. So I grabbed a few things that I thought might work for a background, some washi that I thought might work to add a little bit of design, some bits and pieces that either had to do with summer or the picture or the colors, some more bits and pieces, a little bathing beauty from my vintage dolls that I printed out, and some other papers here. So I thought I would just kind of play. So my first thought was to take this piece of brown paper. It's actually a packing slip from an order from Natural Life, and use that as the background because it's not quite the same color, but it's a very similar color to this one and very similar feel, and I sort of liked that. So that was one option that I had, but then I had this other option that I found right before I started filming, and I didn't even actually try it, but I wanted to see what this was like, because I thought the "while you were out" was sort of funny, you know, in terms of being out at the beach. So I thought that was sort of funny and might also work as something on the page. You know what, I like it, but I think this is, if I'm going to go with color, I want to stick with the colors in the bathing suit, and this is more orange. So I'm gonna set this aside and go with this paper. So, which means I'm gonna need to cut it, and So I'm highly sophisticated cutting method. I don't measure things very often. I tend to just, oh, where's my pencil? There it is. I tend to just make marks on the page, and then I go from there. So turn that down and trim that. And that should work just fine. And I think for some reason, I guess I could put it here. I also kind of maybe like the idea of putting it down here. I'm not sure, just because this seems sort of quirky. But either way, I think I'll put the line here, this crease, and it'll be hidden pretty much either way. So I'll be good to go there. Let me grab my little glue catalog here. And oops, go around the edges and then get the center real good so that this stays nice and stuck. These pages that I'm gluing onto are a little thicker than most, and I'm a little worried that because they're thin, they might cause what I glue. Oh, I glued the wrong side. Do you see that? Do you see what I did? Okay, do I want to use that? You know what? I'm going to go with it. It was an accident. It was not what I intended at all. I wanted the brown, but the black works well enough with the other side, and so we'll just go with it. It is what it is, what it is, what it is. I have more paper. I could reuse it, but why? Okay. Yeah, that I'm actually, now that I'm looking at this, I think I might be happier with it in the long run. Okay, so I've got this picture and I have this, I don't even know what this came off of. Something, it was a sticker, I peeled it off. I stuck it onto this piece of plastic so that it would stay unstuck. So I was thinking that could be fun on there. But again, now that I'm looking at it, I really want to stick with navy blue and red, and then maybe this green that's in the bucket. So as fun as this is, gonna bag that. I grabbed this paper book. I think I got this from Michael's because I just love this paper. Because I have, oh, that navy could work. But I have these stars, and these are buttons, they're not stars, but it just feels like it fits, and it's more of the right color of navy. So I also really like that paper. I'm gonna have to find a place to use both of those in this journal. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, gotta calm down. So I'm thinking maybe, do I want the whole thing? No, I don't think I want the whole thing. I think I just want a strip. So let me slide this over for a moment. And let's see, I want to tear this way because I want the torn edge. So let me line this up along the grid, and then I can line this more or less along the grid. It's always hard to get this straight when, and then that can go in my pile of papers from this journal. That actually might be a little too wide. Yeah, that's too wide. Overdid it. It's okay. Put this back down. Oops, I grabbed 2 rulers instead of just one. I think I needed it more here, which is fine. I will find some use. Ooh, that's not really what I intended to do. Some use for this paper. All right, and then I gotta tear things perfectly 16 times in a row, and then the moment that you're videotaping yourself, you mess it up. Okay, I think that's, might still be a little wide, but that's better. Okay, let's get this ruler back out of the way, and I feel like this is a little zoomed. Let me zoom in just a bit more. Okay, I like that. It's sort of fun. I'm wanting to make this one just a little more simple. So far, I'm liking this. I had a few other things that I thought could bring in some fun, a title, color, whatever. So I have these cards. I think these are from like Project Life Kit, Ellie Edwards Project Life, I think. I just thought this was brilliant, but I think it's just, unless I trimmed it down, I think it's too big for here. So maybe, but I'm not 100% sure. I like the red because it sort of goes with the bathing suit, and because the back has some dots on it, I could leave it hang over the edge and let it be a tab, which is also kind of fun. I'm loving that. I wasn't thinking flag, but that sort of screams flag, and it definitely brings the attention to the red in the bathing suit. I'm maybe liking that more than popping this on, because I don't want to take off all that black. I'm gonna say no. Okay, I also had this, Remember When, and I love that as well. I was originally thinking the circle would be cool. I'm not sure now that I want to do the circle though with, these are like rings within rings within rings. So let me see, you can sort of, see, that feels like too much red. I wonder if I did Remember When, and then did something like that. Maybe brought it down a little bit. Now I like the blue there. Remember When. Just trying to see if you can tell what this says. If I do like this. That's cute. I just don't know if I like cutting off the words there. Decisions, decisions, decisions. Okay, so that's one look. And another option would be to use the red and get a little bit more of the bathing suit drawn in. And then I could also add this as a little bit of something. Now, maybe slide this up further. And a little piece, or put it down here. Oh, that's kind of cute. So I would just use one of these, right? And so it sort of looks like a starfish. It also reminds me of the bottom of the skirt, what I remember of it anyway. That is sort of sweet, and feels vintagey. And as much as I love the circle, Oh, maybe I could do that and that and that. Okay, I think that is what I'm going to, I think that's what I'm going to do. I like this right there, so let me kind of undo these layers a bit and start working on, I think I'm going to use glitter glue to glue this down rather than the glue. This is not quite glued here. Let me, so my neighbor is doing some sort of yard work. I apologize for the buzzing sound. And I'm gonna leave that little bit of that line showing there on this side. I add another little dimension. Okay, so there's that. And then again, where am I gonna, if I do this and this and like that. Yes, so this one would go here. So again, get some glue on there. Gonna try and got big plans for the 4th of July holiday tomorrow. We are having a crab feast with family, which I'm very excited about. It's a very Maryland thing to do. And so I am trying to get tomorrow's video done as well as the next day so that I can get a little bit ahead and take the 4th off and be able to just enjoy things, right? So, and I was thinking maybe right about there. Yeah. So again, I'll just put a little mark here to help me remember. There. And then if we do, should I tuck this behind or over? I like over. And then I think we'll do this here, and I'm going to try and trim this. There. I did that remarkably well. I can use the rest of that for something else. And that is there. Okay, now I only need one of these. I do need to cut it out first. So actually these are paper scissors. And I'm gonna leave them be paper scissors. There we go. And I have another one I can use someplace else. So toss that over there. All right, and I do want to trim. This looks like a little snaggle hanging off there. And another little bit of snaggle in there. Snaggle seems to be the word of the day. And I'm gonna let this hang off a bit. That's something that I like to do in my junk journals. And now I'm gonna grab my fabric glue. I think that will work much better with this applique than the glitter glue. Although I do love the glitter glue. All right. Let's run down. This is Beacon Fabri-Tac glue. And I am not going to glue all the way around. I'm going to glue the center circle here And then, because I don't want it to leak through, I'm going to glue along these the thicker embroidery so that it can catch a lot of the glue. And then glue it down. And that is that. Okay. All right, this is fun and it's cute. And oh, you know what? I wonder, just to tie these two together, if I couldn't just put this over there and then use this remember when along the, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. Woohoo. All right, so I want it super close to, let me do it this way, super close to the words so that they're almost sitting, not quite, but almost sitting on top. A nice little piece of gridded paper. And then maybe that can sit there and that can sit there. Oh, I'm happy about this. Yay. All right, I'll get my glitter glue back out. Oh, I just pulled the whole nozzle off. How did I do that? All right, try this again. And I like kind of being even with this. And I'm gonna grab my fabric glue again, and I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna do the same, I guess side doesn't really matter. But I'm gonna glue this the same way. Go around this circle in the center and then follow these tines. My thought being that if I put the glue where that thicker stitching is, that there will be more to absorb it and it will be less likely to bleed through to the other side. At least that's my logic. And then just tuck this. I don't really need to read what she wrote. It's not my memory. So I'm not worried about covering up that. You can still see the girls, and that's okay with me. I do feel like maybe I want to do a speech bubble like that as well, just to balance it out, and maybe put that here on this side. But that just occurred to me, and I don't have any black paper, so I've got to find some. I'll be right back. Well, that took me a little longer than I thought. I did not have any black paper scraps, so I had to go find a whole sheet of paper, which I'm not too happy about. But I'm going to go ahead and cut a little piece off of this. It's also textured on one side, so I need to make sure that I write on the smooth side. But that should be, size-wise, that should be about right. I also feel like this up here is missing. It needs something, and I don't know what necessarily, but I thought perhaps I had originally planned on doing that tab, and I changed my mind. So I thought perhaps I could do a fabric tab, and I had this as an old dish towel, and so I thought maybe I could take a piece of that, like maybe this stripe right here, and tear off a bit and make a tab out of that. So just tear some here, and then I'm not really sure how long I need it to be, so I'll do that and then see where that takes me. Do I like that on that side? I guess I don't mind that too much over there. Or I could just do that. And then, oh, you know what? Oh, hang on again. Okay, I'm back. I remembered that I had this button brad and I thought I could put that on the tab. And then I thought, well, if I'm going to be looking at putting a button brad on, I might as well look for some buttons as well. So I grabbed a few white buttons out of my button box, and I'm just going to play a little bit. So if I were to put this tab here, and then the brad, what that would look like. And that's nice. It's the only silver thing though, so I'm not sure that that is the best choice. The white, okay, I like the white better. This feels a little too large maybe. This one's just a tiny bit smaller. Oh, that one's better. It also sticks way up. I'm not loving that one. This one I'd have to cut all the smudgy off the back. It's very, very vintage. I think size-wise this one's a little bit better. I'll try a small one. That would need something else. I don't think so. This one's a little bit bigger. That one kind of, on one hand I sort of like it that it kind of disappears. Actually, you know what, let me flip this over that way. Put the stitching on the outside. See if I like that better. That, maybe. And then this, oh, I think we might have our winner right there. Yep. It's a little bit smaller than the big one. It doesn't stick up quite as far as the other one. It's got a little bit of texture to it. Yeah, this is, I'll take these buttons and set them aside. This is it. Okay, now I just need to sew it to this because I do wanna fill in those holes. So again, I'll be right back. Okay, I am back with my needle and thread. Actually, set the thread over here. But when I was digging in my box, I found these buttons that belonged to my grandmother, and there are white ones in here. So I just, isn't this the coolest package? So I just because a lot of these I don't really know where they came from, and these I know were from my grandmother's sewing kit. I just want to see if they work. Any better. Oh, goodness gracious. No, I think this button, I think that button fits better. So we'll tuck this back in here and put those back for now. Okay. Now I think what I'm gonna do is just stitch this directly to the fabric, and then I can glue the whole thing down as one piece. And it doesn't have to be pretty by any stretch of the imagination, because this isn't gonna be, it's not on someone's clothes. Just want to make it look a little bit more authentic. And that's actually probably good. Tie it off on the back here. goodness. There we go. And come on, snip the edges. All right, and then that will go there, and it'll stick up just a touch. Probably should have put that down a little lower, but it is what it is now. Okay, let me put this away real quick, and then we will tackle the last little bit. Set this aside, get it off the desk surface. So I do need to adhere that. I will get to that. First, I need to I want to create this same look here. I'm going to actually draw on the back side. So I need something kind of long and skinny, and then a bit of a bubble, and then skinny again. And then I will there is absolutely no science to this whatsoever. I'm just kind of going around there. And it gives me my little shape, sort of reminiscent of this one. And it's going to disappear behind, so I'm not terribly worried about the end. Maybe here, here. Maybe like that is where that will go. Although, I'll put it there. Still feel like this space needs something. I'm just not sure. Just not sure what it needs. Maybe a quote. I haven't glued any of this down yet, so it's still move aroundable. I can slide that way if I like. Oh, I kind of like that. I think I might leave that there. And let's see. Be in love with your life. Give me just a minute. I'm going to flip through these and see if I can find something that works. I actually found two. One in this book and another in this one, because then I wasn't sure the black was going to work. So I found this one. She was herself again, which kind of fits for me in with the beach theme, and the background color kind of ties in. So I sort of like that. And then there's also Live, Create, Tell the Story, which also I kind of liked. Live, Create, and Tell the Story. I actually think in terms of the look of this, I like this better. She was herself again. I think I'm gonna do that and save Live, Create, Tell the Story for another page. All right, so that can go here. Oh, and you know what? Now I remember, and I have some other ones. Can't make up my mind. That are maybe a little bit larger. Let me see if there's any of these. These are clipping stickers. They're also from Tim Holtz Ideology. Oh gosh, there's this one. It says Play on the Beach. I wonder if that one would be better. Let me just try it here, because it says Play on the Beach, and that couldn't be more perfect for this page. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to do that. Play on the Beach. It just fits. We're gonna go with that. Put these back in here. they fell over, so I forgot that I had them. Make sure that they're upright so I can find them again. Okay, so I think we're close to being done. I do need to glue this down, so let's go ahead and get some things glued down. A little less worried about this bleeding through because of the button, and also because I've got 2 folds of fabric and the fabric is dark. So less concerned about it bleeding and more concerned about wanting to have enough glue to keep the whole thing attached. So there we have that. And then now I'm just not so sure. I'm still not so sure about this. I don't know. I feel like this makes this off balanced, even though it's here. Maybe that feels better or not. I don't know that I like it here. And you know what, that's okay. That is really okay. I don't have to repeat everything. I think I am gonna use this same idea. So give me one more moment to work on that writing. Okay, so I added some text. I decided not to fill the entire photograph the way that the original book artist did, but I did write on the photograph, I wanted to remember a girl who loved the beach. She still does. And so I felt like that block there kind of balanced this nicely and gave a little bit of balance to the page. And so the last thing I want to do is add a little bit of washi to tie the two pages together. So I'm going to take this, got kind of this dotted line thing going. So I'm gonna put a piece of that here, and then just to get a little more of something going on in this space, I'm gonna add that there. So a little bit of continuity from that perspective, and I think I'm gonna call it a wrap. Once my clicker punch thing, I will figure out the name of that silly machine, gets here, I will add a number 3 to this layout. It's still not here, but other than that, it is complete. I hope that you have a great rest of your day and that you have some fun maybe crafting some summer memories of your own. Bye.